This is tips for savvy seniors. I hope a lot of people that watch it may not be the actual senior themselves. Maybe you're in your 50s and 60s and you're still working with mom and dad who are in their 90s. I mean, that's my situation. I am 67 years old, young, 67 years young, and I have a 92-year-old stepmom and who still lives in her two-story home. And I'm very, very concerned, and I am trying to make some inroads in that. But of course, for somebody who's an expert in this space, as I feel I am struggling to get her to go along with what I am recommending. So I get it. You can feel free to call me at any time to see how I'm proceeding with Rose Greenwald, who is my stepmom. Jocelyn, if you want to switch over to the next page. So I want to introduce you to the team. We are growing. We are now 5 of us strong. We are here basically servicing San Diego, California, San Diego County. I make a living when people buy or sell real estate, but for those that know me, I've been in this space for almost as long as I've been presenting to UCSD. And we do not charge for our time. We are very much consultant oriented, problem solving oriented. If you have questions for yourself, if you have questions for a loved one, if you have questions for a neighbor, whatever it is, we can come out and chat. We are a resource for everything to do in the senior space. I don't care what it is. After 15 years of doing this, I pretty much can direct you to the right people for the right job at the right time at the right cost factor. And how do people get paid and not to get scammed by, there are so many things going on out there in the scamming world. We can try to direct you there. So these are our Jackie, Katie, Matt, and Jolene, and then I'm in the middle. So we are here to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Next, Jocelyn, the next page. For those that, again, who have been around with me, a real senior stay or go, and now we are kind of smart sizing, and that can be within, and that's what this is all about today. Smart sizing can really take place right in your own home. Very technology today can make you pretty much never have to get out of the couch. And I'm not recommending that, but I am saying you have so much technology. It is just exploding with the technology ability to do things where we don't have to reach high, reach low, lift, and things like that, that can get us to a point where we might have an injury in the home. Next. So this is my slide that I enjoy life. It has an expiration date. And while we're on this slide, I understand, obviously, I understand that it doesn't just happen overnight. It's a journey. Aging is a journey, is a process. And we want to help you understand that the probability of something happening is very high. And we want you to be prepared for that and get ready for it. Next page. So this is my little caterpillar, I call the caterpillar, the journey that we all are going through. It's interesting right now. I'm in a home personally where we moved about 4 years ago, and I actually added stairs from what the home I was living in 4 years ago. Go figure that, right? Kind of goes against the grain that I'm going to be preaching today a little bit. But we said, okay, while we can do it, we're going to make it work. But we are very cognizant, aware of what we're doing, or try to prep the home so it's as safe as possible. So again, I talk about the initial consultation. We'll come out. We are not contractors. We're not lawyers. We're not handyman, but we know all those people. So we can give you some ideas. And again, I emphasize it may not be for you right now, but it's a prep. Just like we do anything else, we prepare for the possibility, the probability. And then when it does happen, we know who to call, what to call, what to expect, expectations, setting the expectations for the aging process. What I am trying to avoid, because I've been in this space 15 years and I see it over and over, repeat itself over and over again. What I'm trying to stop is that something happens to you or a loved one, a fall, that we put you in a skilled nursing facility. And that's where I use the word facility when it's skilled nursing. And they say you cannot go back to your home, and your children or your grandchildren or your relatives all are in a panic as to what to do about you because you can't go back to your house. But if we have a lot of prep in that journey, then we know what your wishes are, your wants are, and your needs are, and the stress level will all come down a little bit if there is a need that you cannot go back to your home. But this is all about staying in your home. So safety review. I was just visiting someone who lives in a senior living community, one of the most prestigious senior living communities in San Diego, and that community allowed this lady who lives in this community, who uses a cane, to have very thick area rugs in her apartment at her community. And I'm going, whoa, how did that happen? So safety review can be as simple, and we're going to go through a lot, as simple as an area rug in the wrong place at the wrong time. Again, there are people that can come in and give you a full report of everything in your home that they think you could change. Another simple one is if you have a loved one who has struggles to get out of bed to get to the bathroom at night, is that walk pathway from the bed to the bathroom as short as possible and as stress-free as possible and as safe as possible? Maybe moving the bed around, maybe moving the furniture around in the bedroom can give somebody a cleaner, clearer shot to the bathroom. Simple, right? Home inspection, we'll talk about that. Certified appraisal, we're going to talk financial information, evaluation of options. How long do you plan on living in that home? There are very large contractors today that you advertise on TV, Maricow Construction, Jackson Construction, some of the largest construction remodeling firms in San Diego County now have specific people within their organizations that work with universal design to come in and remodel a home to be for the aging process in terms of the bathrooms and the kitchens and the closets and the lighting and everything like that. Then aging in place, that's what we're here to talk about, right sizing, and then move to a senior community. That's not really what that last week was about, move all the options on right sizing and senior communities. We're more focused on the caterpillar and the purple, right? I guess that's purple, the aging in place. Next. Oh, I do want to, I started a podcast about 6 months ago called The Ron Greenwald Show. That was hard to do, right? And we do bring people on that address this very issue of aging in place. One of the things that I'm going to talk about right now is, do you bring a loved one to be a caregiver into your home? And what are the consequences? What are the unintended consequences of bringing a son or daughter to be in your home, to be your part-time, full-time caregiver? If anybody is in that position or thinking of doing that, I would really ask that you call me, because I will share with you personal stories. There's one on the podcast, Suzanne Foreman is her name. If you go to the Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast, and look for the podcast, Suzanne Foreman, hear her story and hear her unintended consequences of having a loved one come in and be a caregiver. I'm not saying it should not be done. I'm not saying it cannot be done. I'm just saying be prepared for the unintended consequences of bringing someone into your home, whether it's a loved one or an agency member bringing someone into your home. So that's a little shout out for the podcast. Next. Aging in place. That's what we're going to talk about. Right sizing versus downsizing. The other two ones we talked about last week, senior communities and home share. So we're going to talk about aging in place today, more so today. Next. So most common accidents, seniors who live independently, this is no surprise for anybody. Falls obviously are number one. For those that bought a home that was built, well, it could be built anytime, but more likely in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. How many of you, and I can't see everybody, but how many of you have a little window over the bathtub shower that you got to literally step into the bathtub and open the window that's over the bathtub to get fresh air into that room? That is probably the number one place falls can happen. And if you breaking hips, that is, we just are trying to prevent you from ending up in a skilled nursing. That is just not the place you want to go. So house fires, bed sores, infections, sprains, lacerations, burns. Just be careful on all of these areas. That this is the 7 most common denominators of when we hear the story of somebody ending up in a hospital or skilled nursing. Next. So these are all the area rugs, and area rugs, we call them balance bars, are very, very important. And obviously we're going to talk about that, but do not if you're going to put in balance bars, get it done by a licensed contractor who's putting them into the studs in the right place in all the various rooms where you may want a balance bar. Do not get the suction cups from CVS under any circumstances, suction cup balance bars from any of the drugstores, because they just won't hold you when you're dead weight falling down on the ground. Look for things that could cause falls in your home, and just warning signs: loose area rugs, lack of accessible seating in the bathrooms and kitchens, balance bars, unsafe thresholds. A lot of our sidewalks, as you know, because of the trees, have cracks and things like that. So just kind of be on the lookout for those type of things, and poisonous materials. Next, I'm sorry. This is one of the areas where we really, really want to chat about, is to think about the decluttering of your home to make it safer and more relaxing and less stressful to go through your home. So many falls and so many issues happen because your home is overburdened with clutter that you are trying to get back. Like in this picture, it's Christmas time, and you're trying to get back to those Christmas decorations or Halloween decorations or Easter decorations, and weaving yourself through all of this clutter and then climbing on a ladder to get to that top rung to get the decorations. Or you're going on a trip to Europe this summer or in the fall, and where's the luggage? The luggage on the very top rack, because it's been COVID, you haven't traveled, and now you want to go find the luggage. So think about the decluttering of your life. Make it something and you can kind of have a mindset, this is a project. I'm not going to look at it in its overall. I'm going to take room by room, drawer by drawer, corner of garage by corner of garage. And there are professionals that will come, and you pay them by the hour, and they will work with you in a non-emotional way to help you decide what to do. Have you not been on that bike in 5 years? Do we want to put it on all those apps where we can sell it? Or do you want to donate it? Or do you want to give it to your children or grandchildren? One of the things I highly recommend is to have, we're coming on, this is, in April, we're coming on July 4th, have a summer party, invite all of your family, all of your relatives, and start having a little giveaway party of things that you don't want in the home, or you don't really need in the home anymore. And maybe some of your children, grandchildren, relatives, friends, family would love to put in their home, and you would mind giving it away. There's no huge monetary value to it. It's just something, and help you declutter. So think about having decluttering parties with your family members, or the idea of having some professional come in and help you go through room by room, drawer by drawer. And it will help you age in place because you're not weaving and bobbing through rooms. I've seen too many homes, and again, I don't know if you know anybody, but if there's a hoarder in your relationship, somebody who's a hoarder, let us know. There are all kinds of services that we can provide to try to alleviate that concern. Next. And we can go right to the next page. So home in place remodeling, as I say, there are, well, most of the major remodeling companies, obviously there are small independent contractors that we can refer you to that can help you in the remodeling and what works for you, what doesn't work for you. But there's also the very large companies have specialists in age in place remodeling using universal design. Obviously check for license and certificates, ask around for recommendations. See if they've done other homes in the area that you can go and visit. Look for their project portfolio. Let them give you photographs of the work they've done. And again, I use the word universal construction. You can actually, as a contractor, as a general contractor, you can specifically get a certificate in the area of universal design and age in place remodeling. Where should that microwave be? Where, in terms of where the dishes are? And there's so many incredible pull out, pull in drawers that everything kind of just falls, comes on out, and you're not going, climbing on a step stool, things like that to get to things. They come out and they drop down. These cabinets actually, I mean, the shelving actually comes out and drops down to our level, so we don't have to climb up on things to get that fine china that you need once a year or something like that. Next. Make the home accessible to all. There's a picture associated with that. I don't know if anybody, I don't see it on my screen. So one of the things that happens is you clear defined pathways, but have your address. I mean, there's a picture on this, on the slide that shows this is an actual home in North Park that had about a 2-foot, the numbers of the address was the numbers were like 2 feet tall. Because what happens if you, for whatever reason, have to call 911? If the faster they can see that number on your home, the faster they're going to get into the house, as opposed to trying to hunt it down. And San Diego's got a lot of nooks and crannies and canyons and things like that to try to find the home. Obviously, they're using GPS. I get it, but the bigger the number on the home, the clearer it is, the faster they can get to you. So some of the things on here make the home accessible to all. The lever style entry handle. How many of us have arthritis as opposed to where we have to turn a knob? If we just do the lever, so much easier to access the house and things like that. So everything that can make it easy. Large house number, a 0 to 1 step entry. And always the question comes up, will it make my home more valuable or less valuable doing certain types of remodel? In today, our aging population, the more that you can do to make it age in place friendly, the more buyers you're going to have. If you wanted to turn the downstairs into a I mean, again, obviously that's a money thing, but if you can turn a downstairs into a master suite and make the upstairs the smaller bedrooms, that is incredibly in demand. There is such a shortage of single-story homes in San Diego. There's such a shortage of age-in-place friendly homes in San Diego that it's really something to consider. I mean, if you want to stay in your home for a long period of time, can be well worth the return on the investment, and given the aging population that we now have. Next. Oh, there's the picture. Yay, it came in. Plan first floor accessibility bath. Floating cabinets, if you ever have to be in a if there's ever a time you're in a wheelchair and you have to get your feet under the cabinets, floating cabinets are just a they look cool and they're very decorative, and it's a great way to be able to get closer to the sink, especially if you're somebody who's going to be in a wheelchair. Taller toilets, that goes without saying. If anybody that does not have the higher toilet, that's a no-brainer. That's not expensive. You can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and get a good high toilet for a couple of $100 and get that installed, and it's a night and day revelation. You still have the low toilets. Abundant lighting, hand-styled faucets, we talked about that. Low maintenance finish. Try to get those finishes that do not take a lot of care. Ventilation with abundant lighting. Get, again, Alexis, turn on the lights, or you just walk into the room and the lights go on. Again, come back to at night when you're getting up out of bed to go to the bathroom. Have all, like in the airplanes where we, the little lights that go down the aisleway. I know it sounds crazy, but maybe there could be some kind of lights that are going on as you're walking, certainly up the stairs. There are solar, an outside, if you have an outside situation, get those solar lights and put them on everywhere, because at one time you go out to put the trash when it's raining and it's nighttime, it's slippery. But if you have abundant lighting, you'll take notice. And if it comes on automatically, you'll take more notice. So for sure on the outside, it's very easy on the solar. On the inside, get a little creative and have like a runway of lighting going on as you're getting up on the nighttime in the stairs and going to the bathroom. Wherever that traffic pattern is, getting up from the TV to the kitchen at night to get that late night snack. Whatever you think you do with that heavy traffic area, have overabundant lighting so that you can see your way clear. When that one time when you get up, it's late, it's dark, the lights are off, you're trying to go to bed, but you wanted to go to the refrigerator, or whatever the case may be, think about a lot of lighting. Ventilation, no-step shower. No-step shower, again, going to increase value. And no-step shower is going to, we took our bathtub out. Now we don't even have, do I miss it once in a while? Yeah, maybe, but I love the walk-in shower. Balance bars, you cannot overemphasize it. They are very decorative now. They're not like, they're not as that steel girder anymore. You can go to Lowe's and get and Home Depot and get some pretty decorative stuff nowadays, because again, it's not an outlier anymore. Next page. Use technology in the home. There is just so much here. I can't even, I could spend a day on this alone, and these pictures speak to that. Just the iPhone alone can be a lifesaver. Every day they're increasing what the iPhone can do. It can call 911. It can tell you if you fell. It can pretty much, obviously we know the smartphone controls our lives in maybe too many ways, and it may be an intrusion to our privacy, but sometimes we like other people to know what is happening in our home. And again, for those on that phone that live alone, I just can't begin to tell you enough to check in with people on a daily basis, or have people, don't feel intruded upon if someone's calling you once a day to see how you're doing, or if you have a loved one that you want to call once a day to see how they're doing, or FaceTime with them once a day. And I'm just kind of digress off this using technology in the home, but obviously I'm thinking smartphones, I'm thinking cameras. I know nobody likes that word, but thinking about if you have a loved one that's in their 90s and they live alone, is it such a terrible thing for you to have access to cameras in terms of, did mom get out of bed today? Did mom eat today? You can have access to that information. Again, I know I know mom probably doesn't, my 92-year-old mom my stepmom would never think about allowing me to do that. But is it better for me to know if she's not getting out of bed till 1 o'clock in the afternoon and why, versus just being having no understanding of that. But again, you see what's on here, the automatic everything, Alexa. You can use that so much. There are people that will come into your home, technology experts that will go room by room with you, will set it up for you. We'll make it as easy as technologically as easy as using an app to make everything work. Lights coming on automatically, thermostats coming, temperature control, everything on this app is available to you. Next. Making the building work hard for you. Motorized blind shades, again, just getting insulated windows and doors so you don't have to, in terms of temperature control in the home, motorized blind shades, just press the button, they go up and they go down, as opposed to you reaching for, trying to, you have blinds way up high, you have a vaulted ceiling or some kind of vault, the windows are way up high and you would like to get some sunlight on them. Just bring in those motorized blind shades. So obviously, it goes without saying, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, have those tested. Put in more than they should be. A smoke detector should be in every bedroom. Carbon monoxide detector should have at least one on every floor, if not more so, depending on the size of your house. Solar power and generator. Again, that's a cost savings. I'm not here to advocate going solar or not, but that's something that we'll leave. Door assist mechanisms. There are lots of software, lots of hardware that will allow the door to open automatically. Make it very easy on yourself. So in terms of grabbing, opening doors that are heavy, especially that door from the garage into the kitchen where you're carrying groceries. That is a big one where falls occur. What is the access from your garage to the home when you're carrying bags that you went shopping, you're carrying bags in? Maybe a ramp would be better suited. You don't need a ramp from the front door and the back and all that. You're still doing great. But would it be better to have some kind of ramp when you're carrying things, that it's a safer access into that kitchen area if you're coming directly from the garage into the home? We can talk more about that next. Okay, there we are. This one is really starting to take off in more and more homes, the through floor lift. So you can see how this operates. This is not something that is incredibly expensive, but it's pretty handy, it's almost, like a lift. Well, it's a lift in your home, like a dumbwaiter in some respect, a dumbwaiter for people as opposed to groceries and bags. But obviously you can put stuff in it. Where this is, you can see on the left, this is I assume that's the top floor, and then here's the way it looks. And so you just actually are creating a hole in an unused space between the two floors where this will go up and down and take you up and down. This is as opposed to a lift on the stairs. So a lift on the stairs is one option, obviously, if you need that, if you're just not able to get up and down without a lift and you live in a two-story home. But this is literally an indoor elevator between floors, and they are really expanding that process. Obviously, this is not something, if you're going to resell the home down the road, probably not the greatest thing to have. But if you want to live in that home, you want to age in place, and you really don't want to be climbing stairs a lot, this is a great opportunity. Or if you're wheelchair bound, this is an option for you. Next. This is AARP Home Fit Guide. It is literally a page by page, piece of furniture by piece of furniture guide for you. If you want it, I can email it to you, or obviously maybe many of you are already part of AARP. Certainly you can go to their website and just type in under search Home Fit Guide. This is about 15, 20 pages of information that I'm trying to convey to you in 45 to 50 minutes of what you can do for the home. You can take what you like and leave the ones you don't like, or just discuss it with your family members as to what you wish to implement. And you don't have to do it all at once, obviously. Make this again, I use the word journey. We don't wake up one day going, man, I'm redoing my house because I'm getting old and I got to make all this happen. Usually something has happened to trigger something where you're going, I need to make some changes and I should do it faster than I should do it sooner than later. So again, have this, download this, print it out, take a look at it, and maybe start to implement one or two of it, see how it works for you. And once you like the one or two that you implement, maybe you take on 2 or 3 more. I'm talking to the people that are listening and they're going to view this video, but I'm also talking to you as a child, if you're an adult child of a loved one, of taking this in to a loved one and saying, hey, look at this. How do you feel about number 1 on page 1 of doing that? Let's do that and just see what happens. I'm talking to you as if you were talking to a loved one as to how to get things implemented, because we know everybody's got their pride, everybody's got their ego, and as someone who has gone through it 100 times with family members, and someone who went through it personally with my own family members, I know the challenge of role reversal when you're talking to a parent that needs assistance in aging in place. So again, I don't know everybody on the audience. It may be you, or it may be someone, a loved one that you know. But AARP is a great viewing point for articles. They're always posting articles on aging in place, and the Home Fit Guide is certainly something that I recommend. Next. Another site is it's the Orthopedic, I think it's the Orthopedic Association. God, I don't know. I can't think of the name of it right now because I can't see it. But Fall Awareness and Prevention Guide. So another site to go to, you can Google AAOS, Fall Awareness and Prevention Guide. Home safety is bone safety. So this obviously has something to do with orthopedics. Again, they're the ones putting this out. I highly recommend it. It talks about medical risk factors. You can see on the right side, environmental risk factors, personal risk factors. Everything, again, that I'm squeezing into this 45 minutes is downloadable for you to read. Take in what you like. You don't have to do all of it, but just have the awareness that there are many platforms. I mean, sometimes overwhelming platforms. If you Google something and there's 1,000 sites to go to, which are the sites that are really in tune to what you want to do? So this is a good one, AAOS. Next. Caregiving home care assistance. Who will be your caregiver while you age in place? If you remember at the very top of this, I talked about the podcast that we had with Suzanne Foreman, where she was the daughter of mom and dad. She came in and moved in, and the unintended consequences of that family dynamics proved very unsuccessful in her journey to try to be a caregiver for mom and dad. So boy, this is the whole topic onto itself. It's great that you are open to the idea of someone coming in to help you age in place. A lot of times it's a husband and wife. The husband is saying, no way, Jose, I am in no way going to allow someone come in and sit on my couch for 2 or 3 hours while I do my watching of television, do my book work, pay my bills, whatever the case may be. However, just don't go in trying to, I'm going to have somebody here 40 hours a week. That's not going to work if you're having resistance by a loved one. You do it in baby steps. You have somebody come in. Now, again, a lot of them have minimums of 4 hours at a time, 2 days a week, or whatever the case may be. But if you're going to think about bringing a caregiver into the home, interview that person at length, and interview the agency at length as to expectations. What are my expectations of the person coming into their home? What are they going to do for me? When are they going to do it for me? How are they going to do it for me? I'm probably not gonna have that same person every time. The turnover in this industry is astronomical. But what are they gonna do? What can I have them do so they're not just sitting there watching me garden? What do you want them to do for you to make your life easier to age in place in your home? There are probably 200 caregiving licensed agencies in San Diego County alone. If you need a referral to a agency, we're happy to provide those to you. If you want to test them out, test them out. If they don't work, they don't, again, if they're not the right fit, they're not the right fit. They also have expertise. If you have a loved one who's have an early onset of dementia, Alzheimer's, that's a totally different caregiver specialty than somebody's coming in and helping you cook the meals for you or bathe or things like that. So look for that specialty. What is their expertise in the field of caregiving, and interview and make sure you interview the people that are even coming into your home. It's very important. And I beg you, do not bring someone, a friend of a friend of a friend, who's going to be come in and be your caregiver if you want to have someone assist you in the home. It is the recipe for elder abuse. Even in an agency situation, there's no guarantee. There's just not. But at least they're bonded and insured if anything does happen. Next. How to pay for all of this. New reverse mortgage. This is Tom Selleck speaking on reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages certainly can be a vehicle for you to gather capital to make improvements on your home. You can use reverse mortgage money for anything you wish. You can take a trip with the money. You can remodel your home with the money. You can give it to your children. You can do whatever you want with it. Just be very understanding of how a reverse mortgage works. Now that we're in a rising interest rate market, or we have been over the last 6 months, we went from almost zero to a mortgage rate of around 5 to 6%. These are a little less attractive than they were at it when the interest rates were near zero, because this is compounded interest. The way a reverse mortgage works is if you borrow $200,000 on a reverse mortgage, the title is still in your name, you still have ownership, you're still responsible for the property taxes, homeowners association, insurance, but the clock is ticking on that reverse mortgage. If you borrow $200,000, every month there's going to be an interest add-on to that debt that then is compounded, right? Compounding interest. Well, if you know the rule of 72, compounding interest can happen very fast. So if interest rates are at 0, or let's say 2%, so if you borrow 200,000, the rule of 72, so 72 is your numerator, the interest rate is your denominator. That's how long it takes for that number to double. So I'm going to do the math for you on this. Hopefully it can, if you have 72 on the top and you have a 2% interest rate on the bottom, that 200,000 is going to take over 30 years for that mortgage to double from 200,000 to 400,000 in terms of your debt. Now take it at 6%. If it's a 6% denominator and a 72% on the numerator, that over 30 years has now down to 12 years for that debt to double. Now, do you ever have to repay that debt as the homeowner? No. Do your children have to repay that debt as a homeowner? No. But from the mortgage lending side, they're going to be much more restrictive to you as to how much they're going to loan to you. And the older, in terms of how much they're going to loan based on these interest rates and how fast that mortgage debt is going to increase. So just today, in today's Wall Street Journal, we're already starting to see one of the big mortgage rate lenders have filed for bankruptcy because they couldn't continue to issue loans. They're still out there. And just if you're going to think about it, call us and we'll give you a referral to a reverse mortgage expert. But have that discussion with your family members, with your wealth manager, whoever that may be, your estate planning attorney. You're using some of the UCSD people. We are all in tune working together on what is best for you. So anyway, questions about reverse mortgages we can answer at the end. Next. Financial awareness. We're going to go over this quickly. I'm going to go into the middle one, Prop 19. Prop 19, you can see Prop 60 and 90 used to be the old rules. Prop 19 is the new rule where you are aging in place. Now, again, you're aging in place. You're not selling your home. You're not liquidating. So your property tax bill every year is not going to change as long as you're living in that home. So if you bought your home 40 to 50 years ago and you have a very, very low property tax basis, the good news is that's not going to change. So that brings a lot of value to you to try to age in place because you have a very low tax basis. I bring this up because it's kind of a new news to a lot of people. If your children are planning to inherit your property, so I'm kind of going off the age in place, but I think is important for the topic of this conversation. If you're planning to bequest your personal residence to your children, and they don't plan on living in that home for whatever reason, they are not going to be able to maintain that parent-child property tax exclusion. If it becomes a rental at any point down the road, after you vacate the home, obviously, that property tax is going to be adjusted to fair market value. So that's what Prop 19 did. Now, again, if you as the homeowner are looking to take advantage of Prop 19, you can do that. If you want to move to anywhere in California, you can take your existing property tax basis. There are some caveats depending if you're buying higher or lower than what you're selling, and you can take your current property tax basis to another home anywhere in California, not dollar for dollar. It's a formula. But so you as the over 65 age person can utilize Prop 19 to relocate and maintain a low tax basis. On the other hand, if you are planning to bequest it to a family member who's not going to live in the home, they are not going to be able to maintain that property tax basis. I highly encourage you, if you have a tax attorney or an accountant or a tax planner that you work with, and you've lived in your home a long time and it's tripled, quadrupled in value, to have a sense of what the impact of capital gains would be if ever down the road you do need to sell the home while you're alive, because it's a big number. If you bought a home for $200,000-$300,000 and now it's worth $2 to $3 million, and for whatever reason you do decide to sell that home and move, that's going to be a big number. So the idea of understanding how to mitigate capital gains on the sale of a personal residence, instead of waiting for that moment where you have to sell for whatever reason, or you want to sell for whatever reason, I would do a preemptive strike, so to speak. So you have, again, planning, conceptual understanding of what that number is going to look like. And then step up in basis. If you don't have your home properly titled, then again, what happens is on the passing of an individual, will you be disqualified from getting a step up in basis so that the heirs to your home can sell that home without adding capital gains tax. So again, do you have a trust? Is it properly titled in the trust? Have you done a refinance of your home over the last 5-10 years of these very low mortgage rates and never really understood, did the home get back retitled into the name of the trust? It's a big faux pas and happens all the time. Also, the chain of title to your home. If you're on a second marriage and you had you had a husband and wife, and the change of titling to the property, also just look at that and make sure that you have a proper chain of title. So if you ever have to sell your home, it's not going to cause a delay in that case. So this is financial awareness, not so much about aging in place, but it does, again, it's kind of information that you should know as part of the overall living in your home. So next. Next. Recommendations, going back to some of the first slides, give away treasures now to declutter, be a, that word is kind of overused now. I mean, you have to live in your home. I want you to enjoy the things that are meaningful to you, that you want to look at every day. But I have to believe if you lived in your home 30, 40, 50 years, there are a lot of items that you would be happy to give away that fill up a room, that serve no emotional purpose or value to your day-to-day living, that you could either donate, give away to family members, whatever you want to do, sell them, whatever it is, get some little additional cash flow and raise $3,000 or $4,000 and use that money to take a trip, whatever you want to do. So make it your mission to declutter, because decluttering will equate to a longer life in your home, just from the stress of looking at all this stuff. Have a medical advocate. I kind of skipped this over a little bit. I am a huge advocate. In fact, they're having their conference right now. It's called, if you want to Google this or you want to, Aging Life Specialist, it's called Aging Life Specialist. If you want to age in place safely, I would connect you with someone who they are all throughout the country. They have a national organization. They have licensings. They have ethical standards. They are called Aging Life Specialists. And if you want to age in your home and age in place, this is the person that can come into your home and do two things. One is I can come in and assess a home as the safety. They will also do it more from the medical side than the aesthetic side of the home. They can assess what is in your best interest from a medical perspective and a living perspective and give you a report so that, again, you have an advocate for your health, because you want to, obviously, no matter where you are, you want to be healthy, but they can help you age in place, because the longer you're healthy, the longer your bones are healthy, and you're not getting misinformation or disinformation from too many doctors or the wrong doctor or whatever the case may be, or your family members think they're all doctors and tell you what medicines to take and how to do things. These are professionals. They usually have been nurses that have gone into the specialty of what they call aging life specialists. Can't speak enough highly for them. Financial decisions, don't hang on to things. Yearly home maintenance. If you have a plumber, an electrician, a roofer, think about having them come to the home, especially a plumber. Maybe we've had an incredible amount of rain this year. Do you have any leaks that you are just not aware of? Have someone come in and look at all your connections to make sure there's no leaks, make sure there's no mold collecting behind that, you're not getting down under that sink and looking at the back wall of, the particle board under that sink every day, or certain bathrooms or certain areas where there's faucets. Think about having the plumber come out and just do a safety check of all your connections and making sure that there's no slow leaks. My mom used to say, small children, small problems, big children, big problems. It's the same thing with your home. Yeah, a small pinhole leak, maybe right now we can get it fixed and we don't have any buildup of any mold situations that can be very toxic over the long run. So think about that. Comfortable with professional assistance. This is to do with home care. If you're thinking about combination of having the medical advocate and home care, these should be really two different people. If your home care person is also your advocate, there may be a conflict of interest. So I always recommend, there are firms, there are home care agencies that are also have aging life specialists within their organization. I'm not a huge fan of that model. I'm more of a fan of the aging life specialist being independent from anybody coming into your home, so that they can talk, they can consult on what is best practices for you to each day to age properly in your home. So, enjoy each next two slides. I know there's a lot to talk about. If you have any questions, again, we are here to be a resource for you. If you want to, I can give you names of people down the road. I mean, my last slide is my email address and my cell phone number. I'm happy to provide you any resources that you may want to think about. We talked about aging life specialists, home care agencies, decluttering people, decluttering companies that come in and help you declutter. Any certainly contractors that come in and give you assessments of the home, that do universal design, any of those people. I'm going to open it up to the floor. No questions? I know it's a lot to absorb, but I recommend going on to all those websites that we taught, AARP, AARS. Jocelyn, I don't see anybody raising their hand or putting anything in chat, so. Nope. Okay, guys. Going once, going twice. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody's time. I wish everybody a great, we have sunny weather today. We're going to have a sunny weekend. Go out and take a nice long walk.
Sorry, Ron, to interrupt you, but I think somebody
I have a quick question.
Oh, sure. Ron.
It's Ron Campnell.
Yeah.
How do you think things are evolving in terms of senior communities versus, the conundrum is, do you stay at home, hire additional people versus going into a senior community? How do you think things are trending these days? It seems like I can see things heading in either direction because there's more and more at-home services, and in some respect, it makes financial sense to live at home, but then there's other downsides which you've brought up. So how do you view that issue of, you reach a certain age, and I'm there, where I've started looking at senior communities, but I'm also looking at options that'll maybe help me delay that, stay in place. I think it's important, for people to have that senior healthcare advocate. I have somebody, a specialist in that area, because I don't have any family locally. So
my answer, again, my answer to that, obviously it depends. A lot of it has to do with the socialization and who is around you. Senior communities are, again, and which senior community is right for you. That's why, so for the first answer to the question is, living alone, is that the healthiest for your, now you're on this Zoom, you are able to get out, I assume you're driving, you're getting out, you have people coming over, you have entertainment around you, have socialization around you. That's my number one thing for senior communities is, how social do you want to be? Do you like that kind of atmosphere where you're where you don't have to worry if the roof is leaking and the gardener shows up and the plumbing is, needs repairs? You just want to kind of chill and be around people who can play pickleball with you and things like that at these communities. And so financially, right now, if you don't have somebody coming in your house from a home care situation and things like that, it's probably less expensive to live in your home. So, but really it's all about your personality. And as long as you're thriving in your home, then why not? As long as you have
Right.
whether family or friends or acquaintances, and you're able to do and come as you really feel comfortable in doing. The minute your world becomes small, and that's what happens. I can walk into someone's home and pretty much tell whether they should be aging in place or they should be moving to a senior community, because I can just look at the deferred maintenance in the home. I can look in
Right.
their refrigerator and see 3 or 4 month old milk and go, their mindset is not, they're in too much stress to maintain their home. Therefore, maybe they shouldn't be there. As long as you're comfortable, happy, and fulfilled and safe in your home, then why not? The minute your world becomes small, where you go, you know what, I'm not taking that walk. I'm not taking that. I don't want anybody come. The minute I hear somebody say, I don't want anybody in my home, then that's when I know they should not be in that home, because they don't
Yeah.
want, they're embarrassed by the clutter, they're embarrassed by the deferred maintenance and things like that. So, it's not something that happens overnight. It's more than a journey.
I wanted to mention one thing that I'm glad I did. Like, I took on, major infrastructure issues. I replaced my water heater and replaced my HVAC. I'm glad I did it, because since the pandemic, I've been told some of those items have doubled, both the cost of the item itself and, the labor to install it. It took almost a full day to remove my old water heater and bring in a new one. So, that's something I'd
Good for you.
recommend people do.
Yep.
Take on, because it's not going to get any cheaper to, particularly these major infrastructure
Yeah.
items that, it's a disaster too if you have a water heater leaking, that can cause other problems. So,
Good for you. I try to get a roofer out and all that. I try to get a
Right.
roofer out to a home before August right now. It's almost.
Yeah, I
really
remember you
impossible.
you had a challenge here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah, it's a personal choice, but I do, just to finish off, I do encourage you to keep visiting them. So if ever you do decide to do something, you know which one is right for you.
Maybe just a comment.
Faye, you have
Yeah.
a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you said something about the minute you notice that you're declining or something. It's too late by that time, I have to say. So I moved into a retirement community at age 80. I was fine at age 80, but somebody pointed out that I wouldn't be the same fine 5 years from now, and how true that was. And I'm so glad I did, because the socialization here is so important. Communal living to me now is just, I couldn't even imagine doing it otherwise.
Oh, that's on, can you share which
I'm at the
community?
V, yeah, at the V.
What?
The
Oh, you're
V,
at the V.
yeah.
Oh,
And-
awesome. Yeah, yes, beautiful, beautiful
Not
living.
shopping and not cooking and having dinner with interesting people is just a miracle, knowing that if I drop dead, somebody would notice that within 24 hours, and that there's always nursing care around.
Yep.
I think it's just amazing. I'm so proud of myself to have made
Well,
that
good for you.
decision without the kids.
I'll give you a
pressure.
thumbs up, because you're about only 5% of the world that actually does proactive moving to a senior. Maybe it's 10% now, but good for you. Yeah.
Well, it's expensive. It's an expensive option, but
Yeah.
worth every cent of it.
Well, great. And how long have you been there?
9 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
now an old lady, and I wasn't so old when I moved in, but
Yeah, I know. I can't think of her name. I'm drawing a blank. She's like 102 there at the V. Just a
well, my
wonderful.
boyfriend is 102. Yeah.
I invite you and your boyfriend onto my podcast, and we can talk about senior living at any
Sure.
time, Faye.
Well, I'm also with the Hemlock Society, so I also have plans for if I don't have a quality of life and it's permanent and irreversible, what do I do then? Which I think is really important, because that's coming up soon. I'll be 90 next week, and it's not too long after that I have to think about, do I want to live?
Well, you
but-
sound strong. You sound vibrant.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I was just hugging a 101-year-old man last week at another community here in Encinitas. World War II vet, just an honor for me, truly an honor for me to meet him. And so I kudos to
I
everybody.
don't know what the data are, but I think if you live in one of these communal situations, you live longer.
Well, the socialization, like I was, talking, it's all, to me, it's all about socialization and having loved ones that, whether they're family or friends or whatever it is, it's the socialization to me is the key. Eating properly, having access to good meals, and not having trying to be as stress-free as possible is certainly a plus. And the V obviously is one of those places. I mean, I'm a big believer in the CCRC model, just for
Yes.
everybody's still on the call. CCRC is continuing care retirement community, where you have all levels, full levels of care at this community you're living in,
Right.
versus a month to month, which can't offer those services. Now, again, there are beautiful month to months. Don't get me wrong. I can name a ton of them, and that was on the last Zoom last week. But on the V, Scripps Glen, La Costa Glen, there's several of them that are just unbelievable in terms of lifestyle. So, awesome. Anything else? All right, we're gonna sign off. Jocelyn. Be well, everybody.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.